There were Billy, Paco, Doug, Miguel, and Scott, the famous and the ones that love forgot. There were Howard, Josh, Lamar, Khadija, Helen, Nat, and John. All of them. All of them now gone, and other patches to be added until this quilt engulfs this lawn. Not long after witnessing this huge mosaic, I was struck by this misfortune. Had the luck to get it too, to separate from all I knew. Before I went, I spent the time remaining collecting stories of those soon-to-be my neighbors on this quilt. Their tales of guilt or grief or ecstasy, transformed by me into the stanzas of this humble poetry. Writing verse, my long-time avocation, became the focus and escape of my fatal situation, and even though I cannot say what all this death and dying means, I leave behind these elegies for angels, punks, and raging queens. Come, let us lie together on this grass and contemplate what came to pass, to make this quilt so long and wide a blanket of a world that died.
Played this dive in the village, somewhere on the edge. During the breaks, I'd hang outside, have a smoke, sitting on a ledge. I'd watch the parade as it passed by, the junkies and hot-to-trot teens. And it felt so right to be sharing the night with angels, punks, and raging queens. We played that gig for a long time, got to know some folks, gave them some change or took their cards, heard their schemes, listened to their jokes. And sometimes they'd stop and hear my song en route to their fabulous scenes. And I still get laughs from old photographs with angels, punks, and raging queens. Oh, I loved that time in the village, though I still don't know what it means. Matrons and whores, intellectual bores, angels, punks, and raging queens. I pass that place like a phantom, and everything has changed. That lousy dime is a sleek boutique, priorities rearranged. I long for the mix of the bad old days, the ball gowns and torn up jeans. And I sing this song for the souls who have gone. Sweet angels, punks, and raging queens. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
As soon as I could, I fled the wretched town in North Dakota, its conventionalities and cowpoke mentalities. I ran straight for New York City, caught a cab to Christopher Street, tucked my suitcase at my feet, ordered something a bit too sweet, and stayed till closing. Young. Glorious virility, overwhelming my eyes like the disco sound assaulting my ears, and the small town fears floated right away as I sat, day after day, watching the parade. Life all around me, here in the village. No more Dakota drudgery. Instead, the neon pulse, Manhattan-driven beat of hunky boys and men, complete with minds. set to compete for the best the world gives in one small place. These were the winners of the race. So, I got a job and settled in a studio so long and thin, the couch scraped against the wall when open, which was all the time. For who knew then when some stranger, dark, sublime, would stumble in and leave me lying with a grin across my face that even work could not erase. But then the plague descended, and my days of bliss were ended, gradually at first and then growing till there seemed no way of stopping its advance. Death. All around me, here in the village, the boys, the men, never to be seen again. And I among them, watching still, even here upon the hill of the town that I despised, ever glad that I found some means of sweet escape. And though I was returned by death, least I set out after life and found some pleasure where I fled.
Maybe I had seen too many TV movies of the week, but I thought terminal diseases were inherently dramatic. Oh, mine was, at first. But when the worst had passed, that fast trip to the hospital intensive care, and then recovering to where I could go home, go back to work, make it through the day. Well, hey, it was the same old boring shit like before. I wanted more. I wanted neat, dramatic takes, building to commercial breaks. I wanted Mother to be played by Liza, struggling to entertain me through her tears. I wanted fireworks. I wanted drama. Not dull routines of AZT. Another test, one more IV, and all the rest. Mundanity. Oh, why can't death be like TV?
I didn't do nothing that plenty of others weren't doing all along. So why was I the one to die by being hit with all this AIDS shit? God damn, it pissed me off. Everything. From the doctors to the cough that wouldn't quit, gave me a pain in my left tit. And just as a point of reference, fuck the term sexual preference. I didn't choose to be this way. Never wanted to be gay, did not request the gift of birth, and didn't want my time on Earth cut short. Forgive me if I'm not a sport about all this, but those so-called miracle drugs, those protease inhibitor pills, had no effect on me, except for worse ills on the side, and I knew too many others who didn't have the dough to help drug manufacturers watch their profits grow. Here in the land of commerce, miracles aren't cheap, and words of hope and promise are words that you can keep. From the moment I got this, every day and minute sucked. And I'm told some found some comfort, but a lot of us got fucked.
Hey, here's a good one. Wait, look at it wet. Tripping on the beach in Mykonos. The day was grey, the light diffused. Whatever substance we had used made the hues of tiny rocks along the shore glow like gems in Harry's store. And there we were, Billy, Patrick, Mitch, and Doug and me, loony as five guys could be, jumping up in ecstasy over each discovery of another stone, whose brilliant colours we'd find alone, then share with all the others. Look! Someone had the revelation that the unique configuration of design was more remarkable when the tiny stones were wet. So we put them in our mouths. Oh, this sufficed more easily than always crossing to the sea. Oh, we were loony as could be. Demosthenes, I'd yell. Demosthenes, take those marbles out of your mouth and eat your dinner. And everyone would scream and carry on. How we'd laugh at times like those. How sad those days came to a close. First, Mitch got sick.
We mourned him so, and then the rest began to go. Grief subsiding not one bit before another friend was hit. When I succumbed, I fought the dark which numbed my mind by focusing on when we shined there on that beach. And my last request to Doug, besides a final healthy hug, was that he take my charred remains and toss them off that strip of shore to blend with pebbles evermore. I was ugly as could get and thought I would look better wet.
Oh, those days when life was one big party, floating on balloons of fantasy, when I'd feel so high I could fly right through the blue. Your standard reply to my well-rehearsed cue was, I'm holding on to you. Yes, I'm holding on.
Can't believe
that
you're gone,
and
don't long
to pursue someone new, 'cause
I'm
I'm
holding
on to you.
Still don't know just when the party ended. Haven't started learning to let go. I can't say goodbye, can't cry for those we knew. I can't even try to do more than review. So I'm holding on to you. Yes, I'm holding on. Won't admit to what's gone, and go along for new dreams to pursue. 'Cause I'm holding on to you.
Feels like we're ballooning through the storm clouds. Someone let us loose and off we flew. No instructions, no crew, not a clue what to do. So I'm holding on. Yes, I'm holding on. Won't admit to what's gone, and go along for new dreams to pursue. 'Cause I'm holding on. Yes, I'm holding on. I'm holding on to you. I'm holding on. Yes, I'm holding on. I'm holding on to you. I'm holding on. Yes, I'm holding on. I'm holding on to you.
I shouldn't be here. They got it wrong. No AIDS, not me. And that's why I don't belong. I did get sick and checked into the hospital. But quick. Do I? Doctor? Is it AIDS? He studied silence, spoke in spades, so I took an easy exit from my window, 8 floors high. At least I died on my first try. Afterwards, the test came back and showed an overwhelming lack of antibodies. I didn't have it. I was wrong. And now I'm where I don't belong. This quilt is fine for those who did, but not this kid.
I always got what I went after. So when I heard the music of his laughter across that bar, where every self-appointed star thought it wasn't cool to smile, I clicked my heels across the tile to his side and said, I have something to confide. I am completely over black apparel. It signifies a total lack of individuality. I like your smile, and you're wearing red. I knew he'd fall into my bed. He did. One more slightly spoiled kid who'd had it all and wanted more, spinning my revolving door. Except I didn't send him back to that world all dressed in black. I kept him there with me in bed and bought him more clothes coloured red. And then one fun night of take-out with Nintendo, he burst into tears. I'm bi, he choked, and I'm sick. And real quick I jump in, you're not sick, you're hot. No wonder guys want what you've got. Not this, he cried. Not AIDS. And then he died. And left me these, some crimson shirts and his disease. I never thought I'd end up dead, because I loved a boy in red.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I didn't know what else to do. No auditions coming through. I hadn't worked in far too long. The room I'd had for just a song was locked one day when I came back, and all my stuff stacked in the hall. I had to call the folks and borrow money to go home. Funny I should call it that. I felt like I'd been born in hell, escaped and lived to tell the tale of growing up the tainted son of fundamentalists from whom I'd run the opposite direction. I had a voice, and I made the choice to sing secular creations, despite my parents' protestations. I knew the scores of all the shows by heart, and got a start at Disneyland. Pretty corny, but some of us were horny for the big time, and auditioned for a Broadway tour. Sure enough, I got it. That was my finest hour. Why did such sweetness turn so sour? To get my folks to take me in, I had to ask forgiveness for my sin. When they saw the chance to win a wayward soul to Christ, they agreed to take me back, which turned out pleasant as the rack. As I lay there, hurting so, I was surrounded by fanatics, wailing, screaming, cheap dramatics in unrecorded tongues, and I used the air left in my lungs to sing the scores of all the shows I knew, to drown them out, but they would shout, "Begone! Satan, take your demon music back below!" And I would crow, "Don't you see that this is hell? Well, what could possibly be worse? Didn't Jesus say, 'I love and nurse the sick, embrace those who transgress'? Where is he in this sorry mess?" Perhaps Christ heard that anguished scream, for then I drifted in a dream of a lovely Broadway show, where I was left to sing so beautifully that angels were applauding me. A miracle, that last reprieve, allowing me to take my leave, lost in dreams of make-believe. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I'd lived enough, thank you very much, and was just as happy it was over, though I wish the ending wasn't quite so messy, and I died in something a bit more dressy. Still, I'm not sure it was any worse than living out the age-old curse of fading into a tired old queen with a fallen ass, watching seasons slowly pass in some piano bar, wishing I was young and firm, filling out like a pachyderm. I was always first to scoff at couples made of two old men. I'd rather be a lonely hen chasing after chicks, who sometimes have the yearn to learn some antiquated tricks. The end was not a pretty scene. Though all in all, perhaps less mean than years of me growing old and crotchety, always bitching, giving guff. Oh no, my dears, I'd lived enough.
My sister went through men faster than I did. Well, almost. Some of hers were losers. Some were boozers. Some were cute. And one of them was a real beaut. That was Bryan. Husband number 3 or 4, I don't remember anymore. He lasted longer than the rest, but not forever. It was best. Somehow he became my friend, and we survived the end of their relationship. We shared a common bond of loving sand and water, framed by a frond or two of palm. Hot, bright sun, and the balm of island breezes. We dreamed of moving to the tropics, of leaving the aroma there in soggy old Tacoma. Don't misconstrue, he was hetero, through and through, but we could do most anything together and have a real good time. When I confessed how messed up I was inside, he took action, called in sick, said pick your island. Flew us to a beach like that where we just sat and watched the tide come in and out and discussed what life was all about. And after we returned, he learned all sorts of ways to help. How to change my soaking sheets without disturbing all the tubes. How to give the medications. How to fight dull administrations of hospitals and agencies. When to bark and when to bite. And when to hold my hand so tight, I'd see beyond my fading sight. Of all the friends I ever had, Bryan was the straightest, and certainly the greatest.
Yes, my friend, it's raining again today. I never understood why you chose to stay in a climate that's mostly wet and gray, when what you loved was a sun so hot it turned the green grass brown, and the rain keeps falling down. Thought the sky would cry itself dry by this time. Thought that I would see the sun by now. One more tear might wash away this God-forsaken town, but the rain keeps falling down. Who am I? A regular kind of guy. I never let the clouds clutter up my sky. Learn to party, but never learn to cry. And even now my tears won't move. They're painted on a cloud, and the rain keeps falling down. Wish that I could let go like a storm cloud, burst through the dam like a flood, seems to weep with far less reason, but I can't cry at all. Thought the sky would cry itself dry by this time. Thought that I would see the sun by now. One more tear might wash away this God-forsaken town. But the rain keeps falling down. Yes, the rain keeps falling down.
Mamacita, Mamacita Saldano, mi madre of the heart, del corazón. My own mother smashed a blessed porcelain virgin on the floor, screamed, "Get out!" and locked the door. No way to change her mind. I was gone. Another sorrow left behind. Mrs. Saldano, Chico's mom, tried to reason with my mother. Whatever he has done, he is still your son. But nothing could be said. To her, I was already dead. So my new mamacita let me stay, and came each day to sit beside my bed and pray. In my room she placed a statue of the Holy Mother carved in burnished wood, whose silent smile whispered that she understood my fear and promised she would stay near. Dear Mamacita Soldano, who treated me like your own son and never questioned what I'd done to end this way. My own mother wouldn't keep me. I never knew my father, but I found comfort thanks to you, my dear adopted mother.
I didn't give a flying fuck for anyone. No one ever gave a fuck for me. I went straight from the doctors where I got the news that I should lose this stinking curse called life. I went from that announcement directly to the baths. And fucked every jerk I could. I'd finish and he'd say, "Daddy, that was good." And I'd crack a grin and slowly stick the dagger in. Boy, it could be said that I fucked you to death because I have AIDS, and now so do you. Yeah, boy. Now you have it too. I'd let that sink in a bit. Wait for the tears, the little shit. Then I'd quit the lousy fuck small room and look for someone else to do.
Figures some guy would give me this. They've always given me so much. Papa gave the business since I was 10, and if I cried, he tanned my hide and gave gifts, which are much worse than his disgusting rod. Then Harry, Dick and Tom gave me wedded bliss. A kiss of violence if their beer was hot, or dinner cold, or they were out of sorts. What sports? How many gave me money for a bit of head? I never was much good at maths, so I count tenderness instead. Then there were the dudes who gave me coke and hop and ludes to dull the edge, help me relax, keep me chugging down the tracks. With all the gifts I got from men, I should have loved it when I passed the lethal present on. Except the man I gave it to was my own boy, born with AIDS. A ticking bomb which would destroy him. I guess it's best he never knew exactly what this world can do. What kind of man would he have been with all of my goodwill towards men?
I was an ordinary Joe. Took life and even breakfast slow. I've never scaled the height or even seen too many sights. I did my part, kept the books in order, and the cart behind the horse. Never wavered from my course, except the time when Emily announced she wanted a divorce. I walked out with no emotion showing, the door swinging on a broken hinge, and dived into a most unlikely binge. Me, awakening in a house of ill repute where several things did not compute. How I'd got there, what I'd done, if only my one lapse from grace had, at the very least, been fun. And in my bed a little chick, with hair so red it seemed her sordid life had bled right through her empty head. This was not the world I knew. Numbers, columns, neat and true. I only visited by chance, and left that awful circumstance as soon as I could find my pants. My life was not like magic. No headline screamed my fate. My death was not called tragic by the Fourth Estate. Living with a secret, I would sometimes overhear other men make fun of warnings. They should fear a plague of retribution on those they'd not go near. Somehow, I could not really tell them what they didn't want to know. A virus isn't picky about where it wants to grow. They never dreamed it lived next door, in ordinary Joe.
I used to drink like a dried up whale, swallow the brine till I was on my tail, dive for goldfish on the barroom floor, but I don't do that anymore.
There was a time that I was known as a loose, and ganders were fine if I was out of goose. Chickens flying in and out of my door, but I don't do that anymore. No, I don't do this and I don't do that. I don't lose my head, I don't toss my hat. I tried it all at least once before, but I don't do that anymore. I must admit I had some regrets.
After the race you can't change your bets,
but feeling guilty is a terrible bore, so I don't do that anymore. No, I don't do this and I don't do that. I don't lose my head, I don't toss my hat. I tried it all at least once before, but I don't do that anymore. No, I don't do this and I don't do that. I don't lose my head, I don't toss my hat. I tried it all at least once before, but I don't do that.
no, no, no.
And I don't do that. No, no, no. We don't do that anymore. We don't do that anymore.
Honey, I figured since this was to be my swan song, I was going to play it for all it was fucking worth. On one of my early visits to one of my early doctors, I collapsed in the waiting room and received the most delicious attention. And that's when I realized I could do this episode like a true blue diva and go out in a blaze of style not seen since Garbo graced the silver screen. I took to wearing lots of black, pearls cascading down my back, a tasteful camellia behind one ear, sometimes a veil, it was so queer. But they'd remember when I was gone, so I just carried on and on. all my life, I'd been tormented by the fearful and demented creeps who didn't see that laughter keeps the soul so free that even death would smile at me. And in the end, there on that ward, I truly gained my life's reward. An audience. Captive and enthralled, the odd venue where I was called to entertain the challenge to erase the pain for just a while, to get a laugh or cause a smile when none had been for many days. Showbiz works in wondrous ways. So, now you know. This diva's story ended in a blaze of glory.
I didn't want a soul to know. If word got out that I had that, fear would flood the laundromat. Who would want to wash their clothes in machines which had held those of someone now touched by a plague? What would people think? I knew they'd create a stink or nod and wink behind my back, the ones too frightened to attack. My daughter, Meg, the firebrand, would have sued the doctors, who never came to the conclusion that the source was a transfusion. But I said no. I didn't cotton to attention, did not relish mention of my name in connection with this shame. Still don't like it when heads tilt and read my name here on this quilt. I made no fuss and did my dying on a ward, the only place I could afford, filled with types I've never dreamed of. Wasn't that fate's final kicker? Freaks and grandma getting sicker. Before I knew it, I was caring, despite whatever they were wearing, and they enjoyed my company. Who'd have thought it? Mercy me. It's good to make friends as you go, but better other folks don't know.
First time I'm in hospital, lady asks me my social security number. Ain't got one. Don't do me no good on the street. Social worker lady, she look beat and say, you should call these people. And I do, 'cause it seems like there might be a buck or two somewhere for me. So this white boy blushing honky red comes by and said he'd do the paperwork. Sure enough, I get some bread. But then he keep on coming back, even when I'm out and lying around my crib. He rub his nose all the time, like the smell of my room bother him or something. And he gets upset when I score some shit. He play honky judge and jury and flush that stuff in one big hurry. When I get bad, he take me to emergency at Bellevue. Crazies in cuffs, kids bleeding and stuff. And I wants to smoke. And he says, you can't smoke in here. And I says, you're such a white boy. Wheel me behind that curtain. So he do, and I gets my smoke. One time I say, Sonny, I'm going to steal some money from the nurses' purses, 'cause I'm hep to where they're kept. And he gets pissed and says, you do that, and those nurses will fuck you over like you've never been fucked over before. A door opens in my head. I sit up in bed. Hey, you a faggot. He look hard at me and say, some people call us that. He too much. Some people call us that. But he all right. The sight of him at my funeral in the Bronx makes me laugh. Only white boy. And everybody scream and carry on. But hey, that faggot blushing honky red keep coming back, even when I'm dead.
At first, none of our nurses wanted anything to do with anyone with AIDS. Well, that made me crazy, 'cause I was gay and therefore safe, at least at first, but not from seeing old friends die. So I volunteered for the new AIDS ward, and in about 2 minutes flat I realised that professional standards did not apply. I just had to cry and help these people die. They needed hugs and common decency, much more than some invasive test that might prolong their lives for 20 minutes more at best. I stood it for a couple of years, until my well ran dry of tears. The day before my leave was due, a pregnant woman, crazed on crack, had to be restrained whilst I was giving an injection. Her hand got loose. I pricked myself with her infection. I found my way back to my ward by quite a different road. But now Many like me helped with the load of details and of boredom that dying has in store, and I was proud to be back in that place once more. Sometimes we make a difference by doing what we must and leave some small impression in life's enduring dust.
If we can learn any lesson from these acres of grief, it's to live for what we have now. If there's a path to comfort or a road to relief, I know you'll take me there somehow. Finding this friendship has restored my belief in the joy that fate will allow. So let's grab the moment, no reason to wait, and let's take a moment to celebrate. Celebrate. You gotta celebrate. Yes, girl, sing. Celebrate, celebrate that winter turns to spring. Celebrate, celebrate the life the rain will bring. Appreciate the seasons that we share. Celebrate each moment, cause each one with you is rare. Now listen here, we have weathered the storm, we have met the test. We have seen the worst, we have known the best. Found great friends to share the weight. Let's take this moment to celebrate. You gotta celebrate. Celebrate that morning follows night. Celebrate, celebrate that wounded birds take flight. Commemorate the love of those who've gone. Celebrate this moment and that life is going on. Celebrate, celebrate that winter turns to spring. Celebrate, celebrate the life the rain will bring. Appreciate the seasons that we share. Celebrate with music. Celebrate with laughter. Celebrate each moment. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. I passed that place like a phantom, and everything was changed. That lousy dive is a sleek boutique. Priorities rearranged. I long for the mix of the bad old days, the ball gowns and torn up jeans. And I sing this song for the souls who have gone.
I was always sick and nobody would pick a baby who had AIDS to make their very own, so the hospital was home. My mummy went away and there was no one else to say that I belonged to them, but nearly every day someone came to play. Doctors or nurses, ladies with big purses that usually held some presents, and even caretakers were checking in on me, which is like a family is supposed to be. Sometimes I'd see kids with parents on TV and wonder, what is wrong with me?
In the canyons of death, friends lie in a day. boys silently fighting their way through the haze. Many unconscious to all sight and sound, though they lie there unmoving, they are heroes all around.
In apartments and wards, the angels descend to cool a fever, to sit with a friend, to fill in the void where no family is found. Though they never admit it, they are heroes all around.
They are out there right now, fighting a war, creating miracles, working for more. Their deeds unrewarded, their glory uncrowned. No missions recorded, but they are heroes all around.
We all can be heroes by giving a hand, running an errand or making a stand. Let's fight heaven's sorrow with feet on the ground. In the war for tomorrow, we need heroes all around. We need heroes. We need heroes. We need heroes.
I couldn't wait to go to Vietnam. I loved my country. Though the pansies and the preppies said we fought for no good reason, I called that treason to doubt our elected leaders. Those pinkos and liberal-hearted bleeders have no idea what goes on in the real world. I was young, too green to understand what I'd gotten into. But it was easy to get out. Powders and potions laying all about. So cheap and easy, sliding into dreams so quick. The silencing of screams heard earlier that day. Screams of boys, no longer here to play. In fields of poppies and of spice. Nice. And eventually euphoria. You're going home. Yo, let's go. I love my country. Took an oath. No more needles, no more dope. Now my veins are full of hope. Parades are nice. Jobs are better. We got neither. Got a letter from my fiancé. Hey, sorry, what to say? Met this guy, you was away. So I searched out my old friend from Nam. 'Cause Uncle Sam had raised the price by quite a bit and stepped on it until it took a lot more shit to hear the band, to fill my veins with Disneyland. I drifted, and one day awoke to yet another cosmic joke. Another war, a battle of the blood. The fuel of my dreams attacked by some new enemy. And it advanced invisibly through hypodermic legacy until at last it had found me. Well, I was certain someone would do something. That in this country I still loved somehow and went to battle for were soldiers who would fight for me. But silence. Bullshit.
You know that word. Bullshit.
Nothing. So many more than died in Nam. Not killed by gooks who gave a damn, but by neglect of bureaucrats we certainly did not elect. Who ignored both threat and fact. And casually refused to act. Shame. For shame. History will place the blame on Reagan, Bush, and pussy-footed troops, while our mothers sit on stoops and cry for those lost needlessly. America! America. God shed his shame on thee. History will recall!
Reagan and Bush did nothing at all!
History will recall!
Reagan and Bush did nothing at all!
Gay, straight, black, white.
Same struggle, same fight!
Gay, straight, black, white.
Same struggle, same fight! Act up, fight back, fight AIDS!
Act up, fight back, fight AIDS!
We
are everywhere. We are everywhere. We are everywhere.
Go back to your closets. Can't you see how unseemly you appear, shouting you are queer? Well, my dear, we did things differently in my time. This aberration was better left a crime. Of course God punished us with sickness and disease. We would not please him. We would not be what nature had intended. Fitting we were ended in this unseemly manner. Especially those who waved the banner advertising our transgressions to the world. My flag was not unfurled. I suffered for my sin, kept it well within the bounds of moral approbation, and died in silent conflagration. Blessed is the one who blames his own creation of hell flames.
I was a big girl. I knew the score. Messed around, went back for more. Played the game with Mr. Jones. Never shed his habits, but they crept into my bones. But hey, like I say, I was a big girl, and big girls don't cry. They take their mistakes and die without jumping into no lake of tears. They say, fuck you, world, I had enough. Unless you're into playing rough, don't mess with me, 'cause I'm a big girl. But not my child, my sweet Arlette. Not old enough to think of boyfriends yet, but wise enough to know that others in the barrio would burn us out if they discovered what my sickness was about. So my sweet girl, not even 10, became the woman of the house, and I became her child. Totally dependent on her makeshift meals, her daring deals to get prescriptions, her descriptions of the world beyond my bed. I don't ask for pity, don't cry because I'm dead. But somewhere in this city is an angel, a tiny gem, a pearl, who learned exactly what it means to be a big, big girl.
If you should get the diagnosis and find your T-cell count is dropping, I would offer this prognosis. Time to do some heavy shopping! Go ahead and buy like mad everything you wish you had. Take your plastic and go crazy. Final sprees aren't for the lazy. Don't stop to question what you need. The point here is to spend with speed. Jaguars, jewellery, don't think twice. Timeshares are especially nice. And may I offer one last word? Advice I wish that I had heard. If spending makes you feel alive, die before the bills arrive.
Certain folks stack up their gold, tuck it safely in the hold. They fear the future could be rough, so deny themselves a lot of stuff.
Not me, sweetheart. Other folks will lay their fright, purchase everything inside. Stack up treats to the last bonbon, but you can't spend it when you're gone.
Too true.
Spend it while you can.
shit has hit the fan. All the fat is in the frying pan. You can't buy off the Reaper Man. Better spend it while you can.
Well, leave a pile for kids you hate,
Kin that you hate.
well, let them fight for your
Money,
mistake.
money, money, money.
Well, leave a chunk for the government band.
And why not spend it while you can? Spend it while you can. 'Cause once the shit has hit the fan, all the fat is in the frying pan. You can't buy off the Reaper Man. Better spend it while you can. Spend it while you can. 'Cause once the shit has hit the fan, all the fat is in the frying pan. You can't buy off the Reaper Man. If treasure fills your caravan, you better spend it. Spend it. Spend it while you can. You better spend it while you can.
Toodaloo. My body was my pride and joy. Tribute to a skinny boy who built it up from nothing. I hated gym and sports at school. It was hard for me to keep my cool in the shower. Those naked guys got me excited, though I never was invited to play in their rude games. So, when I joined the health and racket, found out that this guy could hack it with the best and build it up more than the rest. It was a buoyant revelation which led to new forms of temptation. After all, once you've got it, you might as well make sure you flaunt it. And it wasn't hard to find others eager to compare the fruits of their intensive labour with a bodybuilding neighbour. We'd cruise each other surreptitiously, then make our move, one eye kept suspiciously on the steam room door. Oh, it was exciting. The fantasies of the high school finally delighting. Instead of being edged with threat, beauty can be found in sweat. Inhibitions finally conquered. What a glorious escape. I left them and the life behind because I was in perfect shape.
You know what gets my goat? What? Legionnaire's disease. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Please. A few guys kick off, and you'd have thought the world was ending. The powers started sending troops of eggheads to investigate. And the great and the mighty press covered that fatal mess like the second coming. Or the first time going. I saw the winds of panic blow through that Philadelphia hotel. I was working where those veterans fell. And I was interviewed and grilled till I felt my brains was going to spill out of my head. I remember all that fuss when my man got AIDS. No one questioned us. No one seemed to care. No one said I should beware of what he could pass on. Of course, my man wasn't white and had never won a medal for his fight against the stuff. A battle which he lost. Lord, he paid a fearful cost. They don't have clubs for losers. No parades. No salutes. No conventions filled with boozers spilling out of their old suits. Not everyone's a legionnaire. My husband missed that boat. When I look back on their disease, I tell you, it gets my goat.
Weren't we a pretty pair? You, bedridden and incontinent. Me, covered with lesions, trying to take care of you at home. Our families, wonderful. My sister, Judith, the hotshot lawyer from the East, drew up our wills, airtight, so that our dying wish could never be denied and we'd spend eternity sleeping side by side. And at your bed, your parents said, "You are an angel to our son. The two of you behave as one. Our family plot has room for you. When it is time, you'll be there too." They stood beside me at your grave, trying to be brave as you were lowered in the ground. What a lonely, A shocking sound. Then your parents turned around and said, "You are a disgrace. We never want to see your face again." And the stress of knowing that the earth would not caress us there, together, put me, well, under the weather. My sister took a leave of absence, nursed me to my end. Then she took an even longer stay, to remain here, by the bay, and fight in court. She would not leave until she could retrieve your body. At last we lie together, leave behind this legacy. Surely, there is no dichotomy as good and bad as family.
My brother lived in San Francisco. He said he'd finally found his place. And when I go to San Francisco, everywhere I look, I see his face. Bud and I faced childhood under stark Montana skies, and Bud, he seemed to always have cities in his eyes. He longed for possibility. He lived to move away, and he finally found his dream in the city by the bay. Joe and I were best of friends in our small-time college town, and Joe had personality. What a campus clown! His jokes hid deep rivers that bubbled far below, and we rode the current west, where the rapid waters flow. Oh, lots of us had brothers there who would love to show the sights and share the balmy freedom of San Francisco nights. They liked it so much more than anywhere they'd been, and we thought they would be there when we made it back again. My brother lived in San Francisco. He said he'd finally found his place. And when I go to San Francisco, everywhere I look, I see his
After viewing the quilt, I told everyone, if I die from AIDS, I want my panel to be fabulous. I was very clear about this. I mentioned it several times. So why did I get a beach towel with hand-drawn lettering and a teddy bear? A teddy bear? Do you know how many goddamn teddy bears are on this quilt? I'm sorry. It's just not me. I deserve something more original, something special. Like Rock Hudson. Oh, now there's a panel. Those colours, that rainbow, the glitter. I know I shouldn't be bitter. At least I was remembered. But I requested fabulous. It isn't fair to die and then be suffering from panel envy.
When the doctor told me the meaning of the purple spot, I started reading everything. That was my way to learn all I could and try to understand. And since the consequence would surely mean the end of what was known as me, I read all that had been said of death, and found a common thread besides the tunnel and the light. A sense overwhelming and immense, of complete and instant understanding. Yes, I thought, that is it. That would be grace to fully comprehend why so many are suffering, why so many are dead or dying, why there are friends and parents crying. Why me? Where did this come from? African monkeys, or experiments gone astray in secret labs of CIA apparatchiks? Or was it an unintended side effect of radiation chemicals, or some other alteration of the world of nature? And if I understood the tragedy of unearned death, well, perhaps I could also understand the mystery of lonely life, the need, the void, the endless tomes, the libraries where longing roams. As I breathed my rasping last, alone, I stopped the quest for comprehending more, and let myself, so dark and sore, be filled with light and peace, primary and expanding, a peace that passed all understanding.
I fought the end with all my strength, determined to extend the length of this, my time. I struggled so to catch each breath, I would not be caught by death. Douglas, sitting there in that awful metal chair, where he had been for months, it seemed. Was it that long? Or had I dreamed it all? This pallid room, the antiseptic-based perfume. No, he had been there all along, knowing love would make me strong. But finally, he held me close and tight for seeming hours in the night, and whispered, "Let it go. You're fabulous, you know. Have done and given all you could, and none of us would blame you if you called it quits. This is what true love permits, the strength to say goodbye when you're tired, too tired to try. It was not hard to slip away, Douglas holding me that way. I think I smiled, at least inside, knowing love had never died.
My nephew Scott is ready to start walking. He grabs my leg to reach a new plateau. Soon he'll be exploring new directions. All it takes is learning to let go. My sister Jane has been so understanding. There's no need to explain, she seems to know. She holds Scott with such love and protection. instruction. But someday she'll be learning to let go. I wanna thank you for being my foundation, for giving me a boost when I was low. Your courage is my inspiration. I guess it's time I'm learning to let go. I'm thankful you could get to know my family, and wish that you were here to see Scott grow. He's holding on like there is no tomorrow, and all of us are learning to let go. I want to thank you for being my foundation, for giving me a boost when I was low. Your courage is my inspiration. I guess it's time I'm learning to let go. I want to thank you for being my foundation, for giving me a boost when I was alone. Your courage is my inspiration. I guess it's time I'm learning to let go. I want to thank you for being my foundation, for giving me a boost when I was alone. Your courage is my inspiration. I guess it's time I'm learning to let go. I want to thank you for being my foundation, for giving me a boost when I was low. Your courage is my inspiration. I guess it's time I'm learning to let go. I want to thank you for being my foundation, for giving me a boost when I was low. Your courage is my inspiration. I guess it's time I'm learning to let go. I guess it's time I'm learning